Mary was a patient of mine many years ago. That's not a real name. We used, because it was close to Christmas, called her Mary for a newspaper article. The story was that a young woman with two preschool children who was a patient and not doing well. There were no drugs. In 1985, there were no drugs for AIDS, so it was a tough haul for her. So one day, at the end of a visit, I just, out of the blue, asked her, if you could do anything in the world, what would you do? And immediately she responded, take my kids to Disney World. I can still see it. I still see her. I mean, she just, in an instant, there was no hesitation. That's what she wanted to do more than anything in the world. And wow. And I thought, well, why not? We had very good relationships with media people at the time. Thought we could raise some money. And I called a reporter and asked if they wanted the story, and yeah. In the morning paper on December 17th, 1985, they told the story of Mary. She was in the hospital in a wheelchair, talking about how she was sick and having trouble hiding it from her children. It also made a pitch for donating money to help send her and her kids to Disney World. And we raised a lot of money. One man just walked into the office one day out of the blue with a check for $1,000. He said he wanted to help. Of course, he brought us over the top, and we were able to do it and sent the patient, Mary, and her two young kids and her mother to Disney World. And when she returned from this trip of a lifetime, she was all smiles. And she smiled at me and she handed me an envelope. And in the envelope was a Minnie Mouse decal. And I've lived in the house I live in today I've lived there for 40 years. So that decal has been on the door of the laundry room in the basement for all these years. And I smile when I go down to clean the litter box and see the Minnie Mouse, and I see the smile on her face and the joy that it brought to her and her children. Now, the rest of the story is that 5 years ago, I got a phone call from her son. And he said that grandmother had died, and he found the newspaper clippings about the story of Disney World. He and his sister already knew that both parents had died of AIDS, so that was not a secret. But the origin of the trip was a secret, and he told me that over the years when they were growing up, one of their fondest recollections, and their grandmother talked to them about this over the years, was this very joyful trip to Disney World that he had with his mother when she was so sick. She did Disney World in a wheelchair, but she did it. After all these years, he still remembered that and the joy of that trip. And then he said, I was able to put some money away to take my own kids and my grandmother there before she died. I told this story the other day to a group of new employees. We meet with new employees and introduce ourselves. And the point that I wanted to make is that, the work that we do is important, and it's all teamwork and long lasting. And in a case like this, there's 4 generations of people involved here who remember the good work that the community did to send this woman to Disney World before she died. There's a lot of cliches going on through your head here. Oh, the gift that keeps on giving and all this crossing generations and lasts a lifetime and all of that, but it's true. I don't know, I think it was a unique time in our history where people pulled together toward a goal of wanting to do something. And I think it's unique to not just Rochester, but certainly tells us, reminds us of the great community spirit here and how people are willing to get involved in a difficult or unpopular cause because it's the right thing to do.